let's move on to the wide receivers here, and we got to start with Jalen Waddle, and we'll kind of move on from there. And I'll say this: I am so glad that the Dolphins picked Jalen Waddle and that they didn't get Jamar Chase. That's no shade to Jalen Waddle, but Jamar Chase right now is impacting his team. And that's not to say Waddle isn't doing the same for the Dolphins, but it's just not at the same level. And again, you could probably boil that down to the fact that, it looks like the Bengals have a quarterback. And I don't know. I just feel like Jamar was the better wide receiver. And, Waddle's good and he's still improving. He's on the right trend. But if he puts it all together, he'll definitely be a problem for the Bills. It's just, I just don't know who's throwing him the ball. Therefore, his production might not be as good as it could be.
Yeah, so this is one of the areas where I have some changes from my thoughts last time. And the first matchup with the Dolphins, we didn't really know much about Waddle. And I think the problem remains for him, who's getting him the ball. But what we've kind of seen in limited sample size is he can get that quick underneath separation. He has the speed to do a double move and get deep. And I think with the right quarterback, he can be a real problem for us. The problem is, and we've seen it with Tua throughout his career thus far, is he doesn't really seem willing to push the ball down the field. So kind of all that underneath stuff and the catch and run that Waddle's dangerous with could be so much more dangerous if, you run a bunch of those plays in a row and then he does a slant and go and you've been worried about keeping everything in front of you because that's all they're doing, and all of a sudden he's 10 yards past you. So right now he's not a huge concern to me, albeit, the most dangerous weapon they probably have. But if they find a way to kind of push the pace and push the ball down the field a little bit, that could end up being a big problem. And then also Will Fuller, who we haven't seen yet this season. Could this be the game he plays? I don't know. It seems like something comes up every time. But Will Fuller he's always had the talent, and the talent's never been a question. It's just a matter of, injuries and suspensions and, some weird stuff in his personal life. Whatever that may be, I hope nothing bad is going on with him, but if he's on the field, that makes their offense a lot more dangerous. But it still remains to me whether or not they can or are willing to push the ball down the field. And with Tua as a quarterback, I just haven't seen that out of the Dolphins. So if they can find a way to maximize those skill sets, I have more concerns about their offense than I do currently.
Well, I'm bringing this back to fantasy. And this man, Will Fuller, I had to start him 1 week, breaks a finger, gets me like 1.3 points, and that's it, I think. And I don't know if he's actually off the IR yet or if they plan on activating him, but I would agree with you if he comes back and is healthy. That's another layer to this onion of an offense, and I use the onion reference here because I just don't think it's that great. Because at its core, it goes around Tua. Tua is the core of the onion, and he's not that good.
Ogres are like onions.
Yeah, basically, and Tua's like an ogre, I guess. If that makes any sense.
Sure.
We're using all the Halloween-esque kind of things here. But, yeah, Will Fuller, if he's there, you gotta keep him on your radar. But moving on, we gotta talk about Devontae Parker. And he's had success against, cornerbacks like Levi Wallace. He's a really good possession receiver. Got extended not too long ago. And it gives me pause whether or not if he'll win that matchup against Levi. And honestly, I think it's a true 50-50 coin flip with those two. Sometimes we see Levi get burned, and then other times we see Levi win, and then celebrate and get a taunting penalty for it. So I don't really know. It's just a matchup that we just got to wait and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I think Devontae Parker's a little bit of an underrated receiver who's kind of played with subpar quarterbacks. I think he could be at least a number two, if not a number one, in a lot of situations. Very reliable, good hands. He seems kind of off to a slower start this year, and going back and forth with different quarterbacks isn't easy. But when your two choices are Jacoby Brissett and Tua, I don't know. I feel like he's an underrated receiver, and if they really try to exploit the matchup on Levi, he could have a good day.